Am I the asshole for not buying my parents' car off of them? Okay, this is a lot, so let's unload. I, 20 female, have been using my parents' car for the last 3 years. It wasn't mine, nor have they asked me to buy it until now. So 3 days ago I got a call from my mom and she said she wanted me to buy the car or they would take it back. Okay, fine. How much? $10,000. By the way, it's a 2016 Honda Fit. I love my car. I really do. But there are a few issues that need to be fixed. I said I will but if you fix these issues. She was like okay. But also we need you to pay interest. Whoa. I asked why and she said it builds character and knowledge for buying things in the future. Okay, sounds sus. How much is interest? 11%. I laughed. I truly didn't think she was serious. But she was dead serious. She said people with good credit have 6% interest. Which by the way I looked it up and asked my bank. For me to buy a car my interest rate would only be 5% max. I have good credit. So I asked my boyfriend, his mother, my uncle, my cousin who all are good with cars and money. And legit they all told me I'm getting screwed. I even asked her if she was going to repossess the car, would she sell it at that price? She said no, it would be lower. So I felt like I was getting screwed. I made my feelings known and she was upset. I was talking to my best friend and she said I should just suck it up and I am being an asshole for making this a big deal. They literally just bought my sister a brand new car within the last 2 years. Which by the way, she isn't paying for. Which I mentioned, and she said well my sister needs it for school. I work full-time and I was going to school. I have my own place. I take care of myself. She said that wasn't fair to bring up. And I said it wasn't fair to make me pay for the car if they bought my sister a new one. Mind you, I have paid for oil changes, gas, car insurance, everything. And they do all of that for her. They also want back pay for the last 3 years. So am I the asshole for telling them I won't buy the car? Update. I know I only posted it this morning but a lot has happened. My cousin, my mother's niece, has decided to help me. She thinks this is ridiculous. My mother texted her and was telling her I was having an episode. So backstory, I do have bipolar. But it's managed. She was telling my cousin my private info and asking her how she should deal with it. My cousin is a doctor and can tell when I'm acting out. She had an hour discussion with me and came to the conclusion that I was perfectly fine. Stressed? Yes. Anxious? Yes. But manic? No. She told me that my mother wanted her to show proof. And my cousin said no. This wasn't her business nor was she going to play mediator. So she told her politely to not talk about me to her. I've decided to go no contact. My best friend is really close to them and I told her that I will not talk to them or talk about them. I will update everyone again if anything gets better or worse. Info. My parents are of the belief you work for everything you have, at least when it comes to me. I have paid for everything I really have since I was 16 when I got a job. Yes, they paid for food and health insurance but everything else I've done. My college loan. My apartment. My new car. They have not given me a dime for anything I want. I have to work for it. They'll give me a gift at Christmas or on my birthday. But that's kinda it. I have paid rent to them since I was 16. It was originally $200 a month. But I moved out. Again I've done everything by myself. Update. My boyfriend's mother asked if I want help. Which kinda burned. Like my boyfriend's mother and family are willing to help me with more than what my own family. I turned her down. But she's persistent. So I have in. I owe them a massive debt and she wanted to help. So she offered with that as well. That I told her absolutely not. So Tuesday we are going car shopping. And if I can't get a car loan by myself. She wants to co-sign. I feel so bad. She's so nice to me. And I feel like I don't deserve it. She thinks this is BS. She has been so helpful. And I feel so bad. But she says I'm with her kid. So I'm hers. And it breaks my heart. My parents don't truly feel the way she does. But I will be getting a car soon. My boyfriend's family has been so amazing. I'm also really grateful for the support I have on here. Not the asshole over market rate and at an exorbitant interest rate? You'd be stupid to buy that car. Your mom is not the asshole. Your best friend is wrong, and I wonder how good a friend she is if she's advocating for you to get royally screwed in this exchange. 11% interest? 10K isn't necessarily outrageous if it is low mileage and a high trim level, but that interest rate alone is ludicrous. Your parents aren't assholes for wanting you to buy the car or give it back, but they are assholes for trying to take advantage of you and paint that as character building. Not the asshole. What kind of parent purposefully overcharged their child? Not the asshole. I'd be going out and finding my own car for an amount I could afford. They can go sell their needs to be fixed car to someone else. Don't compare what your sister got. You already see they don't hold her to the same standards. So go find a good car place to buy from. Not at all. Tell them give back the car and just go buy one elsewhere. Not the asshole. Give it back and take steps to buy your own car elsewhere. It doesn't make sense to take the financial shot in the foot. Also, I don't think they can really claim back pay when there was no established payment agreement when you started using it, from the sounds of it. Not the asshole. Your parents are pulling a scam on you. Do not buy this car. I wonder why they are in such a rush to get the car sold off. Money issues, perhaps? Or maybe their golden child wants something expensive and they need fast money for it. Not the asshole. By the sound of it, they just want to sell your car. Just bring it back to them and get your own. Am I the asshole for demanding that my son's stepdad pay for the Xbox he threw in the pool? I'm 46. A father of a 16-year-old son, Adam. His mother and I have been separated since he was 6. Adam is always happy to spend time at my place as part of custody agreement. He hates his stepdad, 30s, and calls him controlling. He puts strict rules upon Adam and punishes him for long periods of times over small mistakes. He doesn't give him allowance like I do or let his mom give him any money, so Adam started working to be able to buy the stuff he wants. Adam always wanted to buy an Xbox but couldn't afford the full price, so I told him whatever he saved I was willing to pay double, and he was able to buy a new Xbox for the first time weeks ago. I got an angry phone call from his stepdad asking why the hell I bought Adam an Xbox knowing it's not allowed at his house. First of all, I told him Adam paid for the Xbox with his hard-earned money, and second of all, that's his mom's house, so he can't dictate what is and what is not allowed. He went on about how the Xbox is a distraction tool for Adam from his school and chores, but I assured him Adam is responsible with time and can manage and balance just fine. He suggested I keep the Xbox in my house and Adam can come over to play, but I said that's not up to me. Clearly I got him pissed, so he warned me about the consequences of seeing Adam playing with that Xbox and ignoring his duties. I hung up immediately. 2 days later Adam called and was freaking out, saying his stepdad had a rage fit and threw his Xbox in the pool as a punishment for Adam for playing with it instead of mowing the lawn. I was in dismay. I went over to his mom's house to see what was going on, but I didn't find her. I found Adam crying. I confronted his stepdad and he said he had to do this because Adam was being neglectful with his chores, and said this was the result of built-up resentment because of Adam's continuous lack of responsibility. I argued that even if he thought Adam was being irresponsible with his playing time, throwing the Xbox in the pool was unhinged of him because he could have hidden it for all I know. He yelled that he gets to decide what punishment fits and went on about how he was just trying to help Adam become a responsible young man. I was tired of this. I told Adam to pack his stuff to go to my place. His stepdad firmly said he won't allow it and that I was preventing him from performing his duties as a father and an authority figure, but I told him he needed to pay for a new Xbox. He argued that I was delusional to expect him to pay for something he doesn't want in his house in the first place, but I said that was enough, then left. Adam's mother came and argued with me, saying her husband made a mistake but I shouldn't have taken Adam out of the house. I asked if she's happy with how his stepdad treating him. She said that's tough love because he wouldn't done this if he didn't care. I blatantly said her husband was just being an overbearing, power-tripping, control freak, and told her Adam is staying with me and we're expecting a new Xbox. She told the family I was stopping her from seeing Adam. Edit. I've always wanted Adam to stay with me, seeing he doesn't agree with his stepdad on a lot of things. But the reason for being hesitant about having him most of the time, if not all, is because of two things, which are the fact that I travel for work and also because of the health problems I struggled with in the past couple of years, although Adam is responsible enough to do so many things on his own. His stepdad already apologized on the phone, but I insisted on getting this resolved instead of ignoring what happened. That man is abusive. Get the custody agreement changed, and take your ex's husband to small claims if he doesn't pay up. I would also go to the police and report the damages done to the Xbox so you have a paper trail. Protect your son. Not the asshole. Not the asshole stepdad is abusing Adam. If Adam wants to live with you he is old enough to decide that. Your ex is not putting his best interests first. What she calls tough love is actually abuse. Not the asshole. Go to the police and report this. He can't break something he didn't buy. It's not his property. That stepdad is clearly abusive and your son shouldn't be around him. Who does he think he is? He doesn't like Adam at all. He's hiding behind the "I want him to succeed and do well" facade. I've seen this 100 times. Clear, not the asshole. Stepdad is absolutely awful and a horrific example of how to be an adult. Can your son choose to just live with you? At 16 he should be able to have a say. If at all possible, I'd get him out of that house as soon as I could. Not the asshole. The stepdad destroyed Adam's Xbox, personal property that your son worked hard to pay for. That is a $500 console destroyed over a fit. He has to pay for it. I would also recommend changing the custody arrangement, as it sounds like the stepdad is very emotionally abusive. Not the asshole. Go to the police and get a police report for destruction of property. He stole and destroyed something he had no right over. Then go to court to update this custody agreement. Talk to Adam about it first. Adam is not in a health environment and his mom is enabling her husband. Not the asshole. In the US, Adam is old enough to decide if he wants to continue shared custody or if he wants to stay with just one parent. I would suggest you check with Adam on what he wants to do, and then depending on his answer, take his mother to court. The fact that his stepdad warned you that something might happen to his Xbox sounds to me that he was planning something from the beginning, and took the first opportunity to destroy the console. Throwing it in the pool seems like an extreme reaction to him not mowing the lawn. What kind of co-parenting relationship do you have? Does he have similar chores, responsibilities at both houses? Not the asshole. Someone really needs to hit this guy with the reality that he is not Adam's father. He will never be his father, you are. Please see if you can have Adam at your house more often, until this chump gets over his power trip. Think about it like this. First, he destroys the Xbox on the flimsy excuse that Adam wasn't doing his chores. What's next? Adam gets a B in a class and this dude punches him? He seems way too aggressive to be an actual parent and 100% like someone who would use a belt or their hand to teach them a lesson. Am I the asshole for reading my mom's psych assessment? I, 18 female, have a complicated relationship with my parents. They're divorced and have been in and out of court for years, and I have gone through periods of wanting to disown both. At the moment I live with my mom and visit my dad occasionally. I planned to go to Europe this September to work as an au pair. But, because I was under 18 when I applied for the visa, I needed my birth certificate. Both parents claimed not to have it and sent vile messages to each other because they were convinced the other had it and just wanted to make the other look bad. I tried to be neutral, but I knew, based on who had the documents last, that my dad most likely had the originals, so when he tried to fight with me about it I defended my mom by saying that if she had them, we would definitely know because she is good at organization. We couldn't find it in time, so I've had to delay my trip by 2 months. I could apply once 18. Not to mention the extra time, money, and stress it's caused. It also means I couldn't go to bars, pubs with my friends as my passport. The only ID I can get ATM. Had to be kept at the embassy until I could reapply. Last week, when I was looking through files trying to find my national insurance number, with permission, I found copies of my birth certificate in the first folder. It was the first thing I saw. I was literally shaking, I was so angry. So I text my mom to confirm what I was looking at, then my dad and my sister, hers were missing and then found as well. Turns out my mom had sent even more nasty texts than I thought, as well as accusing my sister, 16, of stealing and destroying them. I saw red. 4 months of my life were ruined because of her. I couldn't go to goodbye parties for my friends going off to uni. I nearly lost my job as an au pair because of it, plus all the money etc. wasted. The worst thing was that I trusted her so implicitly that I defended her. Even when she was being horrible to my dad, I believed her when she told me she didn't have it. The next document I saw was the psych assessment. This was an in-depth analysis of both my parents' psyche, though my mom only had access to hers plus a summary of my dad's. It was court-ordered in 2020. When she got it, my mom read me parts and then summarized the rest. She would say that I'd read it when fighting with my dad, which, as far as I was concerned, was basically true. When I saw it, I thought, how do I know she's telling the truth about it if she could lie about the birth certificates? If I'm going to say I've read it, shouldn't I actually read it? So, I read it. It was damning. My mom had left out massive parts. When she got home, I decided to tell her I'd read it. I didn't want to, but I wanted to be honest. She thinks I'm the even though she admits she would have done the same, and so would 99% of people. Now she keeps waffling between trying to make it up to me and extreme anger. So, am I the asshole? Edited to add. The psych assessment isn't a medical document, it's legal. I think there might be different meanings in the UK versus us. Legally, I'm fine to read it, since it's about me and my sisters. It was carried out to determine whether my parents were fit parents, so it was looking at all the family history etc. through the lens of us kids and how our parents would affect us. I could, theoretically, request it from the courthouse and be able to read it that way. I couldn't get another copy of my birth certificate because I was born in a different country and wouldn't be able to get one from the embassy before I needed it. The embassy said 6 months minimum. I didn't have my own documents because legally, I wasn't allowed to. Part of the custody agreement specified which parent held documents and both parents were strict on enforcing it out of fear we might give something to the other parent. I only just turned 18 and, before this, had no reason to believe my mom would be untrustworthy with the documents. She's always been really good with organization. Since we're moving soon, and I'm moving abroad, it made sense to keep them with her, and she was reticent to let me have them anyway. Normally reading other people's medical information is very bad. However, your mother already read parts of this report to you, and she claimed she had shared the entire report with you. Let me guess, she shared whatever painted your dad in a bad light and left out issues of her own? She can't rightfully complain about privacy after trying to weaponize the assessment. Not the asshole. NTA. How is it possible to be mad at someone for doing something then admitting you do the same thing? Lol up, I feel for you and maybe you'll find a nice country far away to live in and get away from her. You are the asshole for reading someone's private medical stuff without their permission, of course. As for the birth certificate issue, are you accusing your mom of incompetence in not finding it, or malice in purposely keeping you from it? And did you never say, let's go look through the papers, yourself? If it was right there in an obvious folder, you would have immediately found it at that point. I certainly would have looked everywhere myself before going through months of additional hassle without a passport. Not the asshole. She was telling both you and your father you'd read it, and made it seem like it was information she'd consentingly already shared with you, so how would it have been inappropriate to glance at it? You were trying to make sure you weren't making the same mistake of trusting her honesty and being misled, and that she wasn't involving you in deliberate lies warfare. It's the only reasonable action I can see from here? What should you have done? Told her you're not sure she's lying, now, about her psychological assessment, and to please tell you, but you respect her too much to check directly? Skeptical smiley face. That wouldn't have gone better. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It's my responsibility to protect any medical records that are in my possession and secure them from prying eyes. Not the asshole, but you need to edit your post. The document was not a psych assessment, it was a court document detailing if she was a suitable parent, and the document is a matter of public record as it was read in court. She also said you were allowed to read it when you turned 18. So, you first found out she lied to you in a way that severely impacted your future and accused your sister of destroying something she still possessed, then you found a legal document that she said you were allowed to read. You read it and found out she'd been lying about even more than you realized. Completely not the asshole. Not the asshole, your mom was literally weaponizing you and using it as a little narcissistic power play. Making your life hard and ruining many things for you. Lying to your face. You have all the proof you need that this woman doesn't care about you. You are a tool for her. She violated your trust so badly that how she could be mad you read those documents is just astounding. It has to be pretty bad for a court to order psychiatric assessment. Drop her and don't look back. I'd probably apologize to Dad too. Am I the asshole for nearly making woman cry by saying she's not fit to do her job? This happened earlier today and I don't think I am the asshole, but given the end result I'm here for judgment. My dad drove me, 30 male, to the train station earlier today, and when he dropped me off he parked in a disabled spot. He is disabled with a blue badge, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell just looking. I could see my dad's car from where I was waiting for the train and noticed he hadn't moved for a minute. On checking it was because this man and woman, both 50-60ths-ish, were going back and forth unloading some gardening supplies and had parked blocking him in. Assuming they didn't realize he was wanting to get out the space, and Dad's completely non-confrontational so wouldn't say anything, I asked them to move. The guy said, "We're only going to take a few minutes so he could wait." I responded that doesn't really work as they're blocking someone in who needs to leave. The guy's response was, "Well, you're clearly not disabled and he doesn't look disabled, so it doesn't matter if I'm blocking a disabled spot," before he walked back to get the next bag from his car. This really pissed me off and is the first instance of seeing someone in person not respecting a disability. Plus it's my dad, so hits close to home. The woman then came with a bag and I repeated the request to move to her and she said we can wait and it's not a real spot they're blocking, which didn't really make any sense. At that point I was pretty annoyed and told them it doesn't matter if they're going to be 30 seconds or 10 minutes, they're blocking a disabled spot, and also it doesn't matter if you can see the disability or not. If someone is in the spot, then assume they're disabled. She responded that she doesn't want to have this conversation with me but made no effort to move the car, so I said a bit more angrily that I don't care if she wants to talk or not, they need to move their feeing car as they're blocking a disabled person, and whether they see it or not, the disability is real. The woman then goes, "I know about disabilities, I work with disabled people." To me it felt like the equivalent of, "I'm not racist, I have a black friend." I quickly shot back, "Well, I feel sorry for any disabled people you work with, as you clearly have no feeing idea and aren't capable of doing that job." Finally the guy walks off and moves the car. Dad leaves and the woman looks like she's about to cry, so I walk back to wait for my train. Wondering if I'm the asshole, as my reaction was more emotional, and a pissed-off 30 male having a go at an older woman who didn't want to engage in conversation may have been scary for her. Not that I was in any way threatening, but I feel it was deserved. Info. As there's been a couple of similar comments, this might be helpful. My dad did get out of the car and didn't just drop me off. He pulled in and got out the car to say goodbye, hug, etc., and would have struggled to get out of a normal car parking space as it's too tight and issues with movement. I think he'd originally planned to come to the platform with me, but I told him not to worry about coming all the way. There was an area he could have pulled into to just drop me off, but as he was getting out, the space was more appropriate. Also, there was another free disabled space to the side, so him being there wasn't preventing another disabled person parking at that time. Not the asshole. You summed up the position really well in what you said to her. If she was that knowledgeable about disability, then she would know about less visible disabilities, and she would know that it's flat out never okay to block a marked parking space. Not a real spot. What a ridiculous thing to say. Not the asshole. Someone who works with people with disabilities should know you can't always see a disability. They were being rude. Don't dish it if you can't take it. Depending on where you live, they were also likely breaking the law. I know where I am, it is illegal to block a disabled parking spot. Not the asshole. Good for you for standing up to them. Your dad was sitting in the car, how in the world would they have known if he was disabled or not? And that isn't even the point, they were illegally parked blocking a car regardless if the person was disabled or not. You tried to be nice multiple times, so she served to be called out. Not the asshole seems like it's fair to say she has no idea about disability. It comes in many forms, and even a doctor can't judge based on a moment in a parking lot. But mainly because she brought it on herself by refusing to move and making obnoxious claims. Not the asshole. Abled people using their status as folks who work with disabled people to then claim to know all about disability are just ableist and shitty. I'm disabled and I can't even claim that. Top-tier disabled activists can hardly claim that because disability is a broad subject with a lot of diversity in the experiences of people the label applies to. The simple fact is she just didn't want to have to move her car and was looking for an excuse for not having to. Blocking people into a spot is rude, and using the excuse it's not a real spot, or that the person using it can't be really disabled, is just icing on the asshole cake. Not the asshole. I'm not feeling a whole lot of sympathy for this woman. Or her husband. Their behavior was arrogant, entitled and inconsiderate. I found myself getting angry just reading this. Further, you were 100% correct. Not all mobility issues show themselves in the form of wheelchairs and crutches. And finally, how could this woman, who claims to work with disabled people, be so dismissive of a disabled person that she's blocking in? They both dismissed your father's need to leave as unimportant, precisely because he is disabled. Maybe you should have gone inside and gotten an employee to help you. But who knows? Maybe you gave them something to think about handling it as you did. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You were non-confrontational, but she was ignorant and disrespectful.